Hey, what's up? This your boy Elijah. Welcome back to another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. It's been a while, since I did one, but I'm back. And the goal for this year is to get about 45 dads that I believe will spark some change in other men that are listening and other dads that are listening. And the person I have today is really special to me just by the fact of how he leads my son's baseball team and how he's able to talk to these young dudes about life as well as how to get better at baseball, which is a very challenging sport. Him and his wife do an excellent job with their kids, and I was wanted to have this particular conversation for a long time, but he's busy, and I really appreciate him taking the opportunity to chop it up with me about him being a dad. And welcome to the stage, none other than Coach Rica.
Thank you.
What's going on, Coach?
Not much, sir. Not much.
That's what's up. So, diving right into it, like tell the people who you are. How can they find you if they wanted to? Some about yourself.
Okay. My name is Rico Velasquez. I'm a father of four. I have a 28-year-old daughter and a 22-year-old daughter, and decided to start over in life with kids. So now I have a 10-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter as well. Like Coach Glenn said, I love to coach. I love to be around kids. I love to motivate them, and I like to be a part of their life and help them grow, not only in the sport but just life in general. Wife and I go to church. We love church, and we instill that in the kids, and that's our number one goal.
That's good stuff. So we're gonna get down to it. The question that I always ask is, what do you think the difference between a father and a dad is?
To me, the difference is the nurturing part of a relationship between you and your kids. A dad can be a disciplinary and demand respect. A father nurtures them and makes them feel loved and earns that respect in that way. And so I always try and make my kids know that I love them first and foremost, and through that, I think earns the respect they have for me without the fear.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. So, so talk to me. How are you able to do that without them fearing you?
Uh, I think explaining a lot of what goes on in life, especially when I'm asking them to do something, so that whether they like it or not, that's the way life is, and
Yeah.
explaining to them and helping them understand. And I think I learned a lot of that by coaching.
Really?
Sports, you can tell a kid to do something, and if they don't understand it and they don't know the reason behind it, they kind of get lost. And to me, explaining it to them helps them understand what it is you're trying to accomplish, and that's in life. That's everything you do moving forward. There's a lesson behind everything.
Mm.
And to me, if they understand what it is you're trying to do, I think it eases their mind and gives them the confidence to not only listen, but do what you're asking them to do.
So when did you like? So let's take me back. I'm gonna come back to that, but take me back to when you was a youngster, like somewhere around like elementary, middle school. Talk to me about like your father figure, and then we're gonna work up into how did you establish, you know, um, your
Uh,
mindset now.
so with me, and I get to talk to Brooke a lot about that, is to me, my dad was very loving. My parents were very, very loving, and I loved sports, but they were so busy that although I got to play every sport, they never attended any of my sporting events.
Oh wow.
And it didn't bother me. At least it didn't bother me growing up because I did them, and I would get home and my parents would ask me how the game was, and I got to tell them about it. But they never attended a game of mine, and I played
Mm.
all the way into high school,
Wow.
and they were never a part of that. They were a part of the conversations about it, but they never attended. And my dad worked, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and so my dad was always too busy to be there for
Mm.
that. And it's odd because I still needed his approval, even though he was never there. So I needed to get home. I was excited about getting home to tell them about it,
Mm.
and they want to know what they thought about it, even though they weren't there. To me, once I got home, they were there, and I was able to relate to them that way, and it was great. Uh, now I think I learned a lot from that, and now I don't miss my kids, so,
Mm.
for that reason. Now I wish that they were there. I understand the situation, and I understood it then, so it helped me grow as far as
Mm. So how do you think so when you get to about middle school, what is middle school, high school, what are some of the conversations that you remember having with your dad?
well, it was always being careful. It was always, listen, don't do what I know you have friends. I know what you're gonna get into. He said, be respectful of yourself, be respectful of the people around you, and good things will happen. The day that you start losing respect, you'll see that you're heading in the wrong direction. And so
Mm.
respect was a lot of what he taught me, what he explained to me, and what I've explained to my kids on a daily basis.
Okay. Um so as you move on and I don't know when did you have your first kid? How old were you?
I was in high school still. I
Okay,
was
you was in
18.
high school.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the mindset that you had when you first realized that you was about to be a dad, be a father?
It was the scariest thing in my life.
Mm.
And as a matter of fact, when I found out, I didn't want to have a baby, and I
Mm.
begged her not to.
Mm.
And I told my oldest child that too. I told her,
Mm.
hey, listen, I want you to know that when we found out about you, I was, I was, I was too young to process being tied down to something I knew nothing about.
Mm.
And, and it didn't happen. And I remember getting the call, it paid back then,
Yeah.
that I needed to call and find out what's going on. And that's when I found out that my daughter was born.
Yeah, man. So then when did
Scary.
go ahead? What you about to
No,
say?
it was scary. It was just a scary moment.
Okay, so what kind of so when you had the scary moment, when did the scare change to a different emotion?
So for me, because I was still trying to process everything, and this was high school, so we weren't married or anything, and we really we had so many ups and downs in our relationship, and so for the first year and a half,
Hmm.
um, I had to sneak over to see my daughter.
Oh wow.
So her great grandma, my daughter's great grandma, would babysit, and she would call me, and she would let me go see my baby while her mom was working, and she wouldn't
Oh
tell
wow.
her mom. And we had that kind of. I've always had that kind of relationship with her family.
Oh wow.
Respectful to them, and they've always done the same in return. To this day, it's always been that way. And so I would sneak over there and see her. And I remember when she was 3, I remember going to see her for Christmas at their family's house, and she called me Rica. She didn't call me Dad.
Oh wow.
And right then and there, it lit something under me that said, you know what, I need to step up, and I need to
Mm.
be a difference maker in this little girl's life. And after that, I called her mom and I said, please let me be a bigger part of her life, and I'll do better. I promise. It's not for you, but I'll promise for her to be a role model in her life.
Mm.
And everything changed after that. It was just by her calling me by my name and not that.
Wow.
It lit something under me.
Wow. So it kind of it lit something under you, and also as well, like the ego got hit too, right?
Yeah.
Like the ego got hit. I remember when Gianna was born, our oldest, and the I remember feeling some type of way about my dad because my dad wasn't in my life, and I was like, how in the world could anybody leave this, right? Because I'm like, okay, I'm going to be her protector. I'm gonna be everything I need to be to her and for her. And so I'm always liking to hear or just want to hear people's men's perspective of what it was like in the beginning,
Yes.
because if you understand what it's like to hold your child,
Yes.
it's like it is like your mindset is different, right? Because you said there was a fear at first, and I think that's a fear even if you were married or not, because I know I was scared and I was, and
Yeah.
we was married when we had, I
Yeah.
was, man, so scared, like the way we would sleep in bed, like we was like, okay, we got to take everything. I mean, the bag had everything in it, because we had no idea what to expect, right?
Yeah.
But I want men to hear, dads to hear, uh, those that are thinking, well, I'm scared. Well, that only lasts temporarily.
Oh
If
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, it only lasts temporarily. You
Oh
said
yeah.
it's 3 years for you. However, it took that moment of her saying Rica
Yeah.
and not dad.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That triggered right away, and I thought, no, never again. And I remember she said, "Okay, I'll let her come over." And after that, I just couldn't stay away from her. I mean, she was my life, and
Wow.
thing I did was just, or based on her. And I remember after maybe the first week, her mom calling me and cussing me out. I mean, she was livid because she said, "Dad, I want to go see Dad." And
Oh wow.
how would you make her call you that? I was like, I had nothing to do with that. It's just she understands that I am Dad, and she knows how much I love her, and I would never make her say something that she doesn't feel. And I never told her to call me that, but she understands that I am her dad.
Wow.
And after that, I mean, she was just in my life, and
That's what's up. I see you even lighting up now like this, thinking
yeah,
about it.
oh
That's
yeah.
what's up. So when you have your second one, talk to me about like what's going on in your mind there.
Uh, the second the second time it was a lot easier. They're 7 years apart, so
Okay.
after that, I had already grown so much as far
Mm,
as what to expect, what to do as a father, and so the second one was a lot easier, and it was so much different in
mm.
the expectations. I think this one softened me up quite a bit, like significantly
Really?
softened me up. My first one, although she was a daughter, she was so much into sports that she was almost my boy,
Oh,
but
okay.
really my daughter. But it was
I
you know
understand.
how the difference in what you expect from your daughter versus what you expect from your son is so different. Everything is so different. And
Yeah.
so this one, it was like, Dad, yes, baby. Dad, yes, baby. I mean, I was just jumping for her. So it was a big, big difference in the first one and the second one.
Okay, so what made you, what so what did you learn from the first one to the second one that allowed you to be what was I know you said there was a difference, but like what did you learn from the 7 year gap that allowed you to be maybe a better father or more intentional with the second one?
The patience. It it taught me a lot of patience.
Mm,
When you don't know what you're doing right off
mm,
the bat,
yeah.
you don't have that same. You want to have that patience, but there's times when you don't know what to do. You can't, if the child can't speak to you, if
Mm,
you don't know what she really wants or what they really want. It makes it really, really difficult.
mm.
So it
That
taught
is
me
true.
a lot of patience, a lot
That's
of
what
patience.
yeah, I would agree with Joshua. Side note, did y'all call him prime time, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that they have the same birthday?
Oh, this
Like Deion Sanders and Joshua have the same birthday.
that's awesome. No, I did
Uh,
not know that.
I just found that out, and I told Coach Ray that, and I was like, "Did you know that?" He's like, "No."
Wow,
And
that's
so,
great. Well, he
hey,
ain't using
that's
that name.
so yeah, that's crazy. So when Joshua was born, I was excited because it's a boy, right? The first a girl. I remember telling some people, I telling my wife Jen, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna have no girls," and she laughed because
Yeah.
I was tripping because how I was with women, and so she's like, you have nothing to do with that, right? I said, I get it. So then we have G, and like the patience you talked about, like Gianna was the baby that everybody would want. Like there wasn't many issues, with her. And then when Joshua came along, excited about him being a boy, but then as he started growing, I'm like, man, this dude is so different. Like I have so many different ways of how I have to either nurture him or converse with him because he's a boy.
Yes.
And then because I was spoiled by the first one, my patience wasn't even there,
Yeah.
so mine was in reverse, and like it came to a point I didn't really like the dude until he was like 4
Yeah.
because it was just such a struggle for me
No,
because
that's
he
good.
couldn't talk, like he couldn't talk, he couldn't tell me nothing,
Yeah.
and but not until I was able to when Jen told me, she was like, yeah, I don't think you like this. I don't think you like him. You love him, but you ain't really don't like him. So
Yeah.
that was a change for me. And they're only 2 years apart, you know. So I want to ask you this: when you look at the two oldest, and we're gonna talk about the two younger ones in a moment. What are the characteristics that you see in yourself that are in them?
Um, with my oldest, man, it's scary to think of how much she is like me. To with From the patience, this kid is super patient.
Mm.
He's very driven and beyond respectful, like scary respectful.
Oh wow.
She's also very hard and strict, and so she's gonna be a good leader. And so, to me, what I see in her that I'm glad that it makes me think of how I was raised and and it makes me think of my dad is that patience and that love and respect that wears on other people
Mm.
without having to say, hey, look, this is how I see things. If they're around you enough, they see who you are without you having to tell them. And I think that she is that person that I'm so proud of.
That's good. That's good. What about the second one? Do you have any? You feel like you have any similarities with them?
The second one, uh, not as much. I think she picks up a lot after her mom,
Okay.
but she is she's a very caring person as well. They're
Mm.
just so different. This one, she very girly, and I know that it's my fault. I know that I was such a yes person to her
Mm.
that I made it way too easy. And
Oh wow.
so the struggles, the older one, she'll struggle to make things right. She'll fight and she'll fight till it's done.
Mm.
And my other one, she's more like, nah, not for me. I'm done. And so she doesn't have that. I don't have that in me. And she, she's, she's quick to say, not for me. I'm done then. So yeah, she doesn't have as many characteristics as the other one does with me.
That's what's up. So when you transition to your uh what's the gap between the two your two oldest and your
And the
two
two youngest,
yeah, what's the gap there again?
so Kaylee's 22 now, and Jackson is 10.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
12
So
years.
12 years. All right. So
12
in
years.
this 12 years, did you have any thoughts that you might have more kids?
No,
Really?
I didn't. I was I was transitioning into, okay, here's my kids. getting older, wow, what am I going to do with my life after they're done? You know,
Mm,
what is gonna, what am I going to be a part of? Because my daughter was about to graduate high school. She was playing softball, so we were very, very consumed with sports. And then my other one, she was just there for the ride. There was nothing. She wasn't into anything. She would do dance or cheer or something minor.
mm-hmm.
Never really into anything. So my thought process was, oh, as soon as I get this one into college, what am I going to get my other one into that's going to help her enjoy the rest of her life without getting caught up in you know the nonsense of this world that can grab you sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So then, as you this 12 years go by, then you are about to have your first boy. Walk me through that when you found out, like, or even up to the day, if you recall it.
Uh, so we this one was different. This one it was like I'm in a new relationship. I'm a lot older. I don't want to take away from someone just because I've already experienced everything, right? So kids
That's
are
a good.
older,
That's an incredible nugget right there.
and she just because I'm done, and you know, with her, she's just now starting, and she sees what I'm experiencing with my older kid, and she thinks, man, this is something that I want to do too. And so the my first thought was, I don't want to start over. You know, I'm getting older. It was a lot of work back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I thought, you know what? But I love her. And if I want her to be a part of my life, maybe it is something that I need to do. And I think that I learned enough that this time I'm going to get it even, you know, I'm going to do it even better. And so we talked about it and we said, yeah, let's go for it. Let's do it. And then to find out it was a boy was just, I think I cried when I found out about it. I cried when he was born. I sobbed like I was sobbing like someone left the earth, not
Oh
someone
wow!
else. I mean, it was
Wow!
such a
Wow.
gut wrenching feeling
Mm.
as blood is dripping on Brooke when they took him out, and I'm crying tears all over both of them. It was insane. I mean,
Wow!
that was the I I think I cried more then than I have ever.
Wow! Why do you think that was the emotion was to that particular degree?
I think it's because of everything that I've gone through in my life, and to know that I get to start over, and then to be blessed with a son. I think just I mean, it was just a perfect beginning
I see.
in
I
life.
see. I see. You felt like, if I could say this, like there were some things that you wish you could have done better with the other
Oh yes,
two, right? And
oh
then
yes,
you,
without a doubt.
right, and then you say, "Oh man, I get another opportunity," and then it's a boy.
Yes,
Oh man, this dude is
exactly that.
he's about to get like what I felt like I should have got.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I can see. I can feel that. I understand that very greatly. Because that was with Joshua, and because like I said, I ain't have my father, but I wanted when I had a son, I wanted him to experience what it is that I felt like I needed.
yes,
And then to have Ethan and have a boy come two
right.
boys back to it's like, hey, listen, hey, I'm doing something right?
Yeah,
So, and then to like where I'm at now, to experience them two being like best friends, and I didn't have a sibling that I was close to.
right.
So to be able to experience what um, siblings are supposed to be, right? As far as they supposed to be family, they're
Yes,
rocking with each other, right? And then to see how they interact with their sister. Gianna is like, I'm a preteen. I'll play with you when I
right.
want to.
Yeah,
Yeah, but to see that they desire to even hang out with their older sister,
yes,
and they'll communicate that. So and finding out how to help them communicate their emotions was a challenge. I mean, they're boys, right? And they say boys don't supposed to cry or men don't supposed to cry, right? But that's not good at all,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and so that's one of the things that Jen and I was working on. Is like, how do you deal with? Here you have a. I can ask you this. I'll tell you, walk you through this. Um, so I have Joshua and Ethan. They're younger than Gianna, right? But we're saying that Gianna is the leader, because she's the oldest, but she's in the house. She's the oldest. But then we have the sons that we want to be leaders because they're going to be men, and it's like, okay, how do you balance trying to bring them up to be men that are leaders, but currently they're having to follow their sister,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? And that was one of the things that we had been working on. I'm still working on it,
Yeah.
with Jen not being here. That's has been the struggle. So
Yeah.
how have you been able to, talk to your son about being a leader, as he does have two older sisters that he may or may not have to listen to, you
Right.
know? Like, how do you talk to him about that?
I just I preach respect. I preach respect time and time again. Respect, respect, respect. And eventually that respect will be rewarded to you, and you'll earn that. You can't just walk up and say, "Hey, listen, I'm a brother. I may not be the oldest, but I'm the guy. I'm gonna be the man." And I think that as long as and his little sister too, I need him to respect her a lot because I need her to want to look up to him.
Mm,
And if he's just a mean brother, the tough brother, she may start pushing herself away from him
mm,
because it's that fear of he doesn't really care about me. So I always tell him, respect your sisters, respect your sisters. Show that you care about them, show that you're gonna be there for them, and eventually they're gonna need because I'm the oldest brother.
mm.
I'm the oldest of four, and
Okay.
I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest, and I have three sisters. So
Oh,
I happen to be the oldest, and the three are my sisters. So
wow.
my dad passed away. I pretty much I was pretty much their dad.
Mm,
Even before my dad passed away, he lived in Mexico. So everything that happened in Mexico, I mean, he was gone for a long time. So as they were growing up, it was it was, it was always me. Without me saying it, I respected them growing up. They
mm,
knew that they could come no matter what, and without me shaming them, without me lecturing them. So I am it's just part of it. But knowing that I respect them enough to listen, they respect me enough to take what I say as love, it
mm,
bonded us together really, really good. So with me learning experience with my sisters, I think that helped me a lot too with my older daughters and now with the younger kids
mm.
and
That's
teaching them
good.
the respect part of everything because you'll learn that respect. If you're a respectful person, I think you'll learn that respect.
That's good. The so is Jack, right? Is it
Mhm.
Jack? Is Jack's or
Yeah,
yeah, okay. So Jack's like, you know, as I see him, I can see that he really appreciates what you think about him. Right? We all do. Like we internally want to know how our father thinks about us, right? Even with me not having my pops in my life, like I wanted to know what he thought about me, right? What
right.
do you think Jax thinks about you?
That I love him dearly. And we had that conversation in the truck earlier because
That's what's up.
they were upset because I picked them up early. And the first thing Brooklyn said was, "Oh, I said to them, I love you guys." And Brooklyn's like, "No, no, you don't. You picked me up early." I said, "Do you honestly believe that I don't love you?" And then Jackson quickly turned around and said, "Brooklyn, don't ever say that because Dad loves us very, very much." And so
mm.
on a daily basis, I want them to know that no matter what, I love them more than anything else. And they
Hey,
know.
so yeah, so what did that do to you for Jax to step in and say that?
yeah, it made me feel really good that he believes that no matter what, because there's times they're gonna get in trouble. That's part of it. But at the end of the day, when he goes to bed, no matter what happens, he has to believe. I want him to believe that I love him,
Yeah,
regardless of what happened. I want him to go to bed knowing that I love him.
yeah. That's solid because kids want their validation from their parents
Yes,
and especially from their fathers,
yes,
right? Their dads. Um, that was a challenge for me, right? That was a challenge for me because I'm having to be the disciplinarian, but I'm not here. It's often, Jen did discipline, but she didn't discipline as hard as I did,
right,
and so I think for at least a year or two, Ethan felt like I didn't love him. Like we would have these conversations. I say, "You think I love? I love you." He's like, "No." I say, "Why?" And he was like, "Because you discipline me." And I'm like, "That's not what that means,
right,
right?" And I went, I showed him in the Bible. It's like, listen, I would prefer not to discipline you.
yeah,
A loving person, a person that loves you, does not want to bring you harm, right? We would prefer to talk to you and then it changes. However, a repeated offense requires something different, seeing as though that the talk didn't.
yeah. That's
Right.
true. Yeah,
and so and so his brother and sister had to tell him, he's like, Daddy does love you. Did the same thing that you're talking about. He said, and with Joshua, he understood that if he got in trouble, if once I explained to him why, he would just take the discipline and he understood. Like he didn't
yeah,
want the discipline, obviously, who does? But Joshua's mindset is uh I know that I deserve it based on especially based on what you just explained to me, similar to what you were saying earlier in
right,
the
yeah,
conversation, right? Explaining that why, which was whatever reason when I was younger, the why was not explained,
right.
and it was just like, mom said it, so that's it.
That's it. Yeah,
Whereas, as you can see, when a person understands, especially a kid, understands the why behind things, they have a different appreciation for you.
yes,
That love is there. I mean, that's even biblical, right? Like God
yeah,
tells us why we are being disciplined, and
yeah.
we not following what He said, right? And so, how do you um, how do you determine how you discipline your kids?
First, I have to. So that's the one. That's one of the really good things that one of the good traits that I have is that I don't lash out. I don't overreact. So
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what it is, I need to talk to my kids first, and
Yeah,
explain why or find out why. But
that's
regardless,
good.
there's a story behind everything, right? So
Yes.
when it comes to discipline, I need to find out exactly what their side is. Tell me what it is, and then we'll go over it because we're gonna get to the truth no matter what, right? So I always have the kids explain to me what's going on, and we'll talk about it. And if it warrants punishment, it's
That's
gonna be
good.
there is gonna be a punishment.
That's good.
And they may cry because they don't want that punishment, whatever it is. But at least we're ending it with an understanding that it warrants a punishment.
Mm.
So I don't yell, I don't do anything. It's like, hey, let's talk about this. Let's find out what it is. Let's talk about it, and then we'll decide what happens after.
Mm. When did you discover that technique, or how did you discover that technique?
My dad. You know
Okay.
that my dad never hit me once in my life, and my mom never either. But my
Wow.
dad never hit me once, and
Wow.
I feared him. And I didn't fear him because of the possibility of getting a whooping. I feared him because I didn't want to disappoint him, and
Mm.
I wanted him to feel like he could walk away,
Mm.
me not being able to have that conversation because of disappointment. And so the fear of disappointing him, I think, helped me communicate with him a lot more. I think that I instilled that in my oldest daughters.
Mm.
Now learning so much. it helps me do that with the younger ones.
That's good stuff. So what do you feel like has, um, not that question, but what do you think you see in Jax as well as what's your youngest daughter?
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn. Okay, that's what you said. Brooklyn. What do you see? What characteristics do you see in them of you?
uh, the caring part, they're very, very, very caring. And then with Jackson, I think it's the even though he does whine a little bit, and eventually will break that because that's the one I preach to them. Stop complaining. You wear yourself out complaining. Just be happy. And so I do teach them to be happy people. Be happy. Especially, be happy around people. And I'm telling you, it's contagious. And happy people grab other happy people. And happiness is huge. And so I always tell them, be happy, be happy, be happy. And I think that Jackson pushes that on other people as well.
Mm, that's good stuff. Okay, so what about your daughter? So she is the youngest. So
Yeah,
how is she different? Like, because the youngest they have like, bruh, like the youngest, my 3 year old, bruh.
she holds grudges. She's quick to get angry. Like that is the one thing that I have a hard time with because I'm not that person. And I try. That's the thing that I try the hardest is to have them be happy kids, happy, and I think she is the one that just she refuses. She bucks the system, and she just if I say something, she's mad, and she's gonna be mad the rest of the week if it takes
Oh
a
man.
to let me know that she's mad. And again, she's like my other one. I'm so quick to be like, "Come here, baby, come here, baby." So
Mm,
again, after having a boy and then starting over with a daughter, it got me back to wanting to just hold her all the time. So she gives me sometimes.
that's what's up. So let's. I totally understand that. Like with my youngest, especially with the loss of her mother, it has been like the hardest thing because Jen was her comfort. Like I was able to go through Jen's phone some weeks ago, and it was a lot of selfies. Like you knew my wife; she was not a person that would. She was pretty modest. Like she wasn't boisterous out in the field, or she wasn't that mom, right? She was,
Right.
uh, and so as far as taking selfies, I didn't even know that she had done this, right? And so it was a joy to see.
Yeah.
But and a lot of the pictures were her taking pictures of Jordana or her and Jordana,
Yeah.
and like they was hugging or something like that. And so when with Jordana, where I'm at now, is having to make sure that I'm more affectionate with her,
Yeah.
right? Because that's not my love language necessarily,
Yeah.
but now I have to be that. So I see now what it does to a person,
Yes.
like what hugs and
Yeah.
affection do to a person. They like she lights up all my kids, even Gianna. I told her, I said, I don't think you like hugs. She's like, what makes you think that? She's 12.
Yeah.
And she came at me. She came at me like that, right? I
And every
said,
day I tell the kids, give me a hug. And Jackson, if you're around Jackson, you'll see it when he's around me, he wants to hug me. And and that's not my love language either, but I know what it does for them. And when what does for them does even more for me. So, when I say come give me a hug and it lights them up, man, it lights me up just 10 times more than that. So I get it. And I'm glad that you're doing that.
yeah, 100%. I appreciate that. So yeah, so as we're gonna get into these questions in a few moments, but I wanted to kind of pick your brain on what do you think is missing uh in regards to dads. Like what is that you see missing from dads uh that you would, I mean, it's a broad statement, but what is it something that you would say, dads, you should be doing XYZ? What would that be for you?
I think it's that. It's the connection, the love connection that they dearly need. You know, I understand that dads have to be the disciplinaries, and it I think that it does require some type of fear, and not fear in a scary way, but the respect part of it. But I think that comes with the connection, the love connection that has helped me my entire life. You know, with my olders, especially not having, at least with in this relationship, it's me and Brooke. You know, and but with my other ones, it wasn't that. It was I had to prove to them that I'm not just there to pay for their stuff because that's what the court says, or it
Mm,
be with me. There was times when they didn't even know they had a mom because I just had them with me all the time. And when I'm
mm,
with me, I mean on my arms. You know, when we're walking, it's not this is my child. It's here we are. These are my two children, and uh, you know that I love them because they are this stuck to me
yeah,
in a loving way.
yeah.
And so
That's
I
what's
think
up.
that that's huge for dads is to be that loving father that a lot of people don't realize how much they need to be a part of it with the kids.
That's good stuff. That's a good word for sure. So we're gonna get into these questions, but for those that are just joining us, please like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, and listen in to these dimes that coach is putting out. Even though that's in basketball, but he definitely dropping these dimes. All right, so we're gonna get to these questions. Okay, if you can give me a number between 1 and 45, what would
uh,
it be?
40.
40. What would you say about your child's grandfather?
My child's grandfather. Um, that as loving as he was too busy to not only enjoy my life, but his grandchildren's life.
Mm, mm. Okay, and then what did that do? What do you think would have been different if that would have been like time would have been made different if he
I
would have
think it
stood
would
the
have
time differently?
I think it would have made him happier. I think
Hmm.
he would have seen the joy that I was experiencing growing up, and I think it would have made him a happier person. And of course, you know, being around his grandchildren would have made him a happier person. Not that he was
Mm,
a happy person, but I think it would have given him that that joy that we experience as as fathers. You know, because
yeah.
I think if you notice with grandparents, they uh they do whatever they do whatever for the grandkids. You know, the grandkids get to make a make a mess, and the grandparents
Mm.
don't care because it brings them that much joy once it's not their child. You know, it's their grandchildren. And my dad never got to experience that.
I see. Okay, I appreciate you for sharing that. That's dope. Okay, so give me another number. We got two more numbers that you're gonna give me.
36.
Oh, you was ready with that one. Uh-oh. I don't know if you're ready for this one. What was
Oh,
your first kiss like?
my first kiss.
Yeah.
Kiss. Whew.
Kiss. What was it like?
Oh, it was scary. Really scary. I think to this day that's why my hands sweat so much because I think that's when my hands started sweating.
That's
That was
awesome.
under my sweaty hands.
I don't think I've ever heard that as it was scary. Okay, that's what's up. All right. It will I can see that it would be scary because it's definitely a new territory for sure. All right. Why would you say that it was scary?
uh, Again, the unknown. You know,
Okay.
what is, what's about to happen is real. What's gonna happen afterward? Is
100%.
this gonna be the last one? I didn't have any
Yeah.
practice, so I don't know.
Practice. We talking about all right, that's good stuff. Okay, what's your last number?
Let's go. Let's go 9.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie.
Your favorite movie?
My favorite all-time movie. I think it would be Apocalypto.
Really?
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
It it's back in the Aztec Mayan when Christopher Columbus type stuff, and it just, if you've seen the movie, I always tell the kids is when he jumps and man, they're just taking his city and they're kidding, they're taking all his people and he escapes and he makes it out of there. And he's just yelling, "I'm Jaguar Paw," and
Mhm.
he owns this jungle. And it just, I don't know, it gives you that life of, you know what, this is my world right here. You're not
Mm,
taking it from me. And to me, that just, I never forget that. I think it's such a powerful moment for him. And it just, I always think, man, when you triumph, that's what you should be yelling.
that's good stuff. I see you, Dwayne. Says that movie was fire. Great choice.
It was sick.
That's what's up. I might have to go check that out. I don't know if
Oh
I can
yeah.
remember watching that. What year was that? You remember?
Oh, what year was
I can
that?
easily find it. I was just curious if you knew.
Whew. Yeah, it was a Mel Gibson movie. Gosh, it had to have been in
I'll
the
find it.
90s.
Okay, I'll find it. Apocalypto. All right, cool. So I got last two questions for you. Um, the first of those is, which TV dad do you feel resembles you the most?
A TV dad.
Yeah, not necessarily how they look, but like maybe some of the characteristics.
Oh, that's a tough one. Let me see.
That's exactly why I asked it. Um,
Yeah, it
it
is
was one
tough.
of the questions that Jen kind of came up with, so I put it in my repertoire.
What's a good TV dad? Hmm,
It could be
that's a
recent.
tough
It could
one.
be a long time ago. You know,
That is a tough one.
so it has to be somebody that shows a lot of respect.
Yeah, that shows a lot of respect. Ah, that is a tough one. I didn't watch a lot of shows.
That's okay. Let's go with one that you think might be close to you, or some that you liked. We'll go with that. What are some TV dads that you did like?
I used to like watching Who's the Boss,
Oh
and
wow! Hold on,
and
bro.
he was
You talking about
always,
Tony Danza?
yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I
Okay.
always respected how he treated his daughter and worked around no matter what to keep things good, because he didn't belong there, and so I think when I think of him, even then when I would watch it, I felt that respect of, and this dude knows how to do it right,
That's
being
good.
single and having a child.
That's good. I have not heard that one, and I've done a lot of these, and that's a good one. Because I'm visualizing who, and I can't believe I still remember his name. Like, like I know his actual
Tony
name.
Dancer, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, and then the last question is, how do you want to be remembered? How do you want your kids to remember you? What would you like for them to say about you?
That there wasn't a day in their life that I made them feel that I didn't love them. That no matter what, they could turn around and say, "My dad really loves me." And to this day, I push that, and I thought about that the other day. And when my dad passed away, when I was crying, and as much as I cried, it wasn't that I was gonna miss him, because I missed him anyways. I didn't get to see him all the time, so I did miss him. But I think it was that I didn't get to say I love him enough.
Hmm.
And even though he knew that I loved him, I bet there was days that he wondered whether I loved him or not. And I don't want that for my kids to ever wonder.
That is
So
awesome.
the key for me, the most important thing for me.
I like that. I don't want them to ever have a moment that they don't know that I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Well, Coach Rica, I have appreciated your time. Hopefully, this has been something good for you
Yes, sir.
to be able to reflect upon your dad's skills and the things that you've learned and
Oh yeah.
you've grown from. For those that are out there, remember to subscribe. And if you in the HEB area, you need to check out Coach Rica because he's a dope coach,
Thanks.
phenomenal coach, man. Wherever you go, we going, bro.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's how
Basketball's coming up.
that is going to be awkward, sir.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yes,
here
sir.
for it. Hey, if you need a little bit of help, let me know. That's my
Yes,
lane.
sir.
Basketball is my thing. And you have the final words as we leave for the evening. What would you like to say?
To all your, to all the fathers, the about to be fathers, enjoy this because not everybody gets to do this. And at the end of the day, let them know that you're proud of them. Let them know that you love them, and to have Jesus in their life, and good things are going to happen. No matter what, good things will happen. Just be there for them, and God will reward you for it. I promise.
That's what's up. Well, until then, we out of here. If you want to stay on, you can. We can talk about it. It'd be good. All right. We appreciate all those that tuned in and checked this out. Until next time, we out of here. Deuces.